Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Planescape Torment. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today here as we fight the final boss. I think it's the Transcendent one, and we're fighting him. I am not really sure how this is gonna go. I know that what happened last episode kind of happened this, well, in between episodes again, because my computer, well, there was a power outage and my computer went out, it's like, yeah, I had to resurrect and recuperate all of my stuff again. But that's okay, we have plenty of stuff to take care of, and I just cast Blur on me, so that should give me a little bit more armor class. Also, let me look at Dagon. He currently has -13, and he gained +1 edge, edged, which I suppose actually allows him to have an extra ability, or a little bit better skill at doing the sorting. Okay, let's see what this guy is gonna do. This is very noisy. I am okay with how things are going. Okay. This seems to be going very well. Weapon unusable. Oh, because I am using like special things. Yeah, do the special things.
Did you see that?
I did. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Permission to part with that item is denied.
Well, we just murdered the final boss. Can I save? I can.
No! How is this possible?
Well, that was way faster than I expected. I'm actually gonna attach this final section to the previous episode, so it's gonna be one a little bit longer episode. So there we go, designed by Chris Avellone right there. And of course, do I recognize any of them? Colin McComb, I think I know him, but not the rest of them. And Fergus Urquhart, yeah, he then went on to BioWare. And now he's at Obsidian, yeah. So there were a few questions left unanswered, I would say. Let me just get that out. There we go. So we got the enhanced edition credits right there. So that was, yeah, there were a few questions left unanswered, I would say. But I think this is the sort of game that really requires, well, it's an RPG, so it's definitely the game that requires a lot of, not a lot, maybe a couple of replays to just get the wall of the ideas. Because I noticed from very early on that you guys were making comments just like, oh, that's interesting, that means a lot, and I wasn't fully aware of what it meant early on, because I wasn't, you know, that was my first time through the game, and so I think it really requires a couple of playthroughs for me to fully understand exactly what happened. I think the question of what can change the nature of men kind of fell by the wayside. We could have asked that of the last boss, and I don't know which ending I got. I think it might have been the good ending for all I know. I don't know. My alignment was good, but I think I was sent. Was that the Blood War? I think that was the Blood War, and I was sent there to die, basically. Or I decided to go there and die finally at last. Don't know what happened to any of my guys. That's actually a big shame. I really was hoping that we would get some sort of Fallout style ending slates basically, where Anna went on to do this and Daikon went on to do that, because that would really be very interesting, and that's actually the only real shortcoming of this game, I would say, and a shortcoming that Tides of Numenera definitely fixed. I think Fallout really influenced a lot of games in its sort of ending style, and even BioWare games later on started to have a little bit of that as well. So yeah, it's this is nothing, nothing like Tides of Numenera. I would say nothing like Tides of Numenera. It's got a lot of common things, common threads, but Tides of Numenera tries to be despite taking so much after this, tries to be its own game, and succeeds in some things and fails at others. I really do think that the story of this one is more coherent, and the characters are a lot more intertwined with our main character's storyline. So that I really enjoyed. But I'm sure, like with any other RPG, then on the second and third and many playthroughs after the first one is when you really start to see all of the details. Because right now I'm replaying with intent to finish for the second time Pillars of Eternity, and Pillars of Eternity is was also partially written by well, actually was mostly written by Josh Sawyer, who worked on Icewind Dale, I believe. Yeah, Icewind Dale 1 and... No, wait a minute. He was the lead of Icewind Dale 2. But Chris Avellone also worked on Pillars of Eternity, the main writer of this game. Yeah, now replaying through it the second time, there's so many things that are introduced early on in that game. And it's the same thing on every RPG, but I think the more plot heavy you have of an RPG, the more stuff you're gonna have introduced early on in the game, and just more aspects that you weren't gonna realize, and that replaying through the game you're gonna be able to see and just say, hey, that changes my perspective maybe, or that's really cool, that it makes this character more sympathetic, or just whatever. All those sorts of details, I think it really makes the experience better, replaying through it time and again. I think my next playthrough, I might try to, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it on camera. Maybe I am gonna do it on camera, it depends. But maybe my next playthrough I might try to do a completionist run, try to be, just try to get all the things, and maybe get a different characters like Vylor that we didn't got, and Ignis, so maybe a completionist run on an evil side of things, because apparently the ending doesn't really matter what you choose, which is actually one of the biggest contributions of Chris Avellone to RPG design, computer RPG design, I should say, which is the way he likes to handle in the writing, the way he likes to handle player choice, because we don't really have that much choice in this game. It's not really the game about, I mean, you can I know it sounds weird, we have a lot of choice, but it is meta choice, and actually he addressed this bit in interviews of his, where Chris Avellone just goes on and says that it's important to give the player choice to define his character, but the game doesn't necessarily have to respond directly to that. So for example, your character might want to kill somebody. I don't remember the exact example that he gave in which interview, but basically your character might want to kill Ignis, for example, because Ignis is evil, or because Ignis smells, or because Ignis attacked him. And for the game, if the game addresses all those possibilities and gives you the possibility to choose which one it is, that's really cool for the player. It's just, oh, so many choices, this is really awesome. But for the development team itself, I mean, you'd normally think, oh man, there's so many choices, I'm gonna need to branch so many things. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Those are inconsequential choices. But the game, as long as the game doesn't invalidate those choices, and as long as the player remembers why, you can keep a consistent feel on your character, and that I think is really important. And I think this game really lends that, because it was one of the primary design objectives, was to keep a consistent way that the game wouldn't invalidate the player's choices by just later on saying or forcing the player into a way that would invalidate a previous choice, regarding Ignis, for example. So that's what I mean. There's not a whole lot of choices in the game. You're sent from one place to the other, and you have characters, and you deal with the characters as you see fit. And they're kind of violent, but that's normal. I think that is normal for a game from 1999, released in the last day of 1999. Was it the last day of the... No, yeah, it was 31st of December 1999, I think. So yeah, it's an old game, and it shows that it's an old game, but it's still... I'm not gonna say it, but it very likely is the best written role-playing game that I've ever played. I can't say it for sure. I would need to replay through it. I feel that the combat side of things makes the game lose focus, and I think that's more of a relic of game design than anything else. But then again, there should have been so many more games like this, to be honest. There should have been so many more games like this. Oh, Planescape Torment. Planescape Torment. Anyway, that's gonna be that. Thank you guys so much for staying with me, for listening, for sticking with me, if not only through this episode, maybe through the whole series. And I know some of you have been with me through the whole series, and you have my immense appreciation. But even if you have just stood with me for this little bit, you have also my immense appreciation. I am very, very privileged to be able to play this game with you guys, and both with your feedback and just with your presence. I thank you very much. You make my experience of the game that much more interesting and that much more engaging, and I can't thank you enough for staying with me. So thank you so much once again. I have been Colonel RPG, and this has been Planescape Torment, the enhanced edition, because the original edition doesn't actually record on my computer. I explained at the beginning, and I will explain at the end. If I ever find a way to record with the original edition, I will, but unfortunately I haven't yet. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, well, you know, if you didn't as well, leave a comment below. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel about the game and about my opinion. Leave a like as well if you enjoyed the video. But above all, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye bye.